Okay, so today I'm going to talk about a couple different wars. Their names technically are true, but technically are untrue, and have pretty significant effects historically speaking. The first war I want to talk about is the Hundred Years' War. Reason I say that the name can be kind of misleading is first of all, the war lasts 116 total years. Second of all, it wasn't like there was continuous fighting for all 116 years. There's multiple different treaties and lapses and conflict. Nonetheless, the major fighting lasts for 116 years. Now, the fighting takes place between England and France, who are historically rivals, and this is not the first nor the last time that they'll fight each other. The war breaks out because the English felt like they should have a king also on the French throne. They thought that their person should inherit the French throne through multiple different stuff. I won't get lost in the sauce on that. Look into it, it can be kind of confusing. Nonetheless, they go to war. England wins multiple battles early on during the Hundred Years' War, and things are looking good for England. Later on, things don't go so well for England. You'll see a lot of major players later in the Hundred Years' War, one of them being King Henry V, who famously leads the English in a victory over the Battle of Agincourt. Joan of Arc is involved in the Hundred Years' War at the Siege of Orleans. The final battle, or at least the big turning point, is the Battle of Castillon, pictured here. That is a major French victory. At this point, King Henry V, it's his son, King Henry VI, who inherits the throne at 9 months old. He is the king of England. Of course, he cannot rule at 9 months. By the time he is fit to be king, he's just kind of lost his nerve. France will then take over much of the land conquered. From this, you see different English factions, and England, which starts the War of the Roses, will eventually be won by the Tudor dynasty. So just kind of some interesting history there. Look into that. But we'll go to our second war. This next war that I just want to touch on has two names. One, here in the United States, we know it as the French and Indian War. That name doesn't make a lot of sense because it's not the French against the Indians. In fact, natives fought with the French and with the English. Also, here in not America, it's known as the Seven Years' War, though the war technically lasts 9 years. The reason it's called the 7 Years' War is because that's when a majority of the fighting takes place. Now, much like the 100 Years' War, this is going to have major implications. Winston Churchill will actually call this the First World War, and there's multiple countries involved. Look into that. Again, I'm not going to get super lost into the sauce here. The primary players that I'll focus on are England and France, who are back at it once again. When the French and Indian War, or when the 7 Years' War concludes with the Treaty of Paris in 1763, England basically has all of French territory in the United States. They just kick the France straight out. The English then are in much debt, so they will tax some people, those people being the 13 colonies, and that will eventually, down the road, lead to the American Revolutionary War. So, kind of cool, those couple wars just have a ripple effect through history. Look into them, they're both very interesting. Per always, I'm running out of time. Hopefully you learned something. Love you all.